Yes, ladies and gentlemen, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. I am your host, Khristian Dentley, and this is the good stuff, baby. Today, I love this time of year. This is the Christmas holiday season, and there are certain things that just make it Christmas for me. And one of the things that makes it Christmas for me is wonderful Christmas productions. I am so excited to interview a beautiful friend of mine who is probably one of the hardest working women that I've ever met in theater. The way that this lady, and we'll get into this with her because I want to understand how her mind works, but the way that she is able to coordinate and create and produce all of the and gather all of these people for a common purpose to create an incredible production that glorifies Christ. It's amazing. Her vision is incredible. Her music is incredible. The soundness in which she directs is it's otherworldly, and it's like poetry in motion to see her do this thing. I am talking about none other than my wonderful friend, Miss Kathy Spur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kathy Spur to the Good Stuff Podcast. Hey, my sister, how you doing?
Hello.
Oh, I am so excited.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. Yeah.
You're very, very welcome. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I meant everything that I said. You are one of the hardest working people in show business that I've ever seen. Just how you move, we'll get into all of it, of course, but I just want to, first of all, recognize and honor you as an incredible catalyst that brings out the best in people to produce excellence that glorifies God. That is wonderful.
Well, that's exactly what I try to do. And I like to do it with the 5-year-olds and the 80-year-olds. There's so much more people can do that they don't realize. Yeah. And you just have to figure out how to get it out of them.
Yeah. So let's start there. There's a difference, obviously, between directing 5-year-olds and directing 80-year-olds. So how do you find yourself in a position, and is it difficult for you to like Paul said, I become all things to all men that I might win some? Sometimes it's not necessarily winning them salvation, but winning them to the purpose or the goal that we're all trying to achieve. And that could be very different between 5 and 50. So how do you do that?
You know, I don't know that it is so different. I expect certain things out of everybody. So everybody knows my bar is high. I always tell them my bar is Broadway. And if the kids, there are rules when you play on Broadway. If you touch a prop, the company gets fined. So I teach my 5-year-olds, if you touch a prop, then you owe me a quarter. So I'm not so sure that I do anything different. I set the bar high. Everybody knows where they stand. I think that's what's important, is they absolutely know where they stand. However, they all know that I love them. And the 5-year-olds know that, and the 80-year-olds know that. And they also know that I'm not correcting them to embarrass them. I'm correcting them to make them better. And when they do well, whether they have a big part or a little part, it makes us all look good. And when we look good, people listen to us, and we're able to communicate God's word in a more efficient way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Stop for a second and talk about when you talk about correcting people, because a lot of times I've seen that when people are younger, when you're dealing with the 5-year-olds, the 8-year-olds, a lot of times their hearts are more pliable and conditioned to receive correction versus somebody who is 50, 60, 70, or even 25. So there's a difference in how we receive correction. And some people just can't endure it. Like the scripture says, they can't endure correction. So how do you then bring correction and discipline to somebody who is less pliable? I'll say it that way.
Um, Again, I think that behind all of it, they know that I love them. They know that I want them to do well. They know that I don't want them to get on stage and embarrass themselves.
Mm,
And I don't, it's hard to get that was good out of me.
mm,
So I, I think that it comes from a place, and we discuss it. We discuss it, and I have taught the kids when they get corrected, they say to me, "Thank you, Miss Kathy." And the adults have heard that. The adults get corrected now and say, "Thank you, Miss Kathy."
wow. Wow.
So it comes from, I want you to be better than you could possibly imagine.
Mm,
And I think they get that now. We
wow.
were having our ensemble rehearsal the other day, and I told them, I said, just follow me. If I move on stage, just go. If I stop, even though the script is written that a certain way, I may feel something on stage that says, no, stop and listen. I said,
Yeah.
just follow me. And one of the ensemble members who's been with us for about 4 years now said, that's what they do in Detroit. I have never seen a group of people watch her and follow exactly what she's done. But that's built from trust.
Mm,
So I think you have to get the older people to trust you.
mm.
And I've often used the example to them from the Aladdin story, where she's about to jump on the magic carpet,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know that the carpet's there. She just thinks she's jumping off the building. I have looked at them and used that example, and then I'll put out my hand and I go, "Do you trust me?"
Mm.
And
Ooh, Kathy.
when you get that trust, they will follow you on stage.
Okay. We have to park here. This is so good because I don't think that sometimes leaders uh, place more weight on their knowledge of where they're taking the people than they do the fact that they have to develop the trust of the people that they're leading. So I was in South Carolina this past Sunday, and I was working with a sound team in South Carolina, and we had revamped and reworked some of the audio features and stuff like that, and the microphones, and redid some EQing and found identified some speakers that needed to be replaced, and the sound, we had gotten the sound immaculate, and they had been accustomed to sound that wasn't immaculate, so that when they came in, their spirits were high. They were like, "Oh, this mic never sounded better," and da da da, this, that, and the third, right? So the sound guys were excited as well. So while they're in the middle of sound check, one of the sound guys muted the house. He muted the house, and immediately I turned, and before I could even get to him, the person who was leading were like, Something's different, something changed, something's different," and I had to stop and say, "Hey, it's okay. We just muted the house for a second so that we can see something, da da da," just kind of bridging the gap or so. And then I went over to him and I said, "Bro, turn the house back on. We can't do that. We can't do that because they are already on pins and needles because
Mhm.
it's different." Once we've established the fact, once in the beginning, we started with the monitors, and this is probably too much information, but we started with the house off so that they can hear that so they can learn to hear what their voice sounds like coming from the monitors. This is the main source where you're hearing yourself. But then when we turned the house on, it got more full, and they were like, "Oh yeah, oh, this is great." So now once rehearsal is going, they're on a bridge. And when you muted the house, the bottom fell out for them, and it cost trust. And so I
Mm.
was telling them, you can't do that, because now they're going to be looking just innately for something else to be wrong. And lo and behold, something, hello, check. My mic sounds different. Now they're thinking that you did something else and you didn't even do anything,
Yeah.
because it was the trust. So there is a very important component of leadership that has to do everything with the people trusting you that are following you, and we can't
Well,
betray that trust.
where you build on that is that you tell them the truth. If they're singing poorly, I will say that's not good.
Mm.
God's got perfect pitch. So that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to
Yes.
sing into God's ears.
Yes.
So uh so I don't give false, oh, that's good. Oh, that's great. To
That's good.
get a good out of me, they know it's good.
Mm.
So I think you have to be honest with them. And that's where the trust comes in. Oh, she's
Mm.
just not telling. She goes here and there and to the next place and she tells everybody the same thing. I don't. If it's not good, I'm going to say it's not good. Now, how do we get that better? How can we
Mm.
fix that?
Mm. Does it ever, are you ever afraid, or do you ever hesitate to tell somebody that is not good because there's a risk of breaking their spirit?
And I think that's where the love has to come in. So if that happens and I see that, then that person gets taken privately aside.
Mm.
And I always tell them, I have to give you notes in front of everybody because most likely somebody else has the same problem and they
Mm.
can learn and fix it. And the other thing is, I don't have time. I don't
Yeah.
have time to take you all apart. We're going to do this together because we're a team. If you look better, then we all look better. So we're going to all learn together. Um, but I don't think that I do it so that I break a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. But then I also talk a lot about being self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
That I have some older people that think they can really dance. And they can't. And so we talk about being self aware. We
Yeah.
talk about staying in your own lane. You're out of your lane, you know.
Mm. That's so good.
So,
What
and
I
they're
love it.
not
Go ahead.
allowed to give each other notes. They can, that the notes have to come from me. If I
Mm-hmm.
see you giving somebody a note, you're going to get stopped and said, and I'll tell them, I, I got this. I don't need you to help direct. That's my lane.
Hmm.
I'm
So
just
there's a,
extremely honest.
and I love that because we live in a very sensitive time where people have been, honestly, that I've noticed, placated. We've been given participation trophies for, and we've been applauded and even promoted because of reasons other than it actually being good, reasons other than the fruit of your efforts have produced something that tastes great. We have learned to buy fruit out of season. So now we don't even know what ripe
Mm,
fruit tastes like. So now we don't know actually what's really good versus what's really not, because we're just accustomed to buying fruit out of
yeah.
season. So
I tell
yeah.
them I'm not that mom that gives everybody a birthday present on my child's birthday. If you come to the party, you're not going home with a present. We
Oh,
re- we
good.
reward everything. I don't do that. And they
Mm,
know that. And they accept that. And I'll tell you what, the children love that because they finally are at a place where they know where they stand. They know I'm trying to speak truth. And so they feel safe.
mm.
Doing what you're talking about does just the opposite in making people feel safe.
That's so good. That's so good. I never thought about that because I have gone to take my son to birthday parties, and he came home with a gift. It's like, hey, how
Why?
did you get?
It's not your birthday. My daughter, I don't know if you know who Mrs. Frizzle is, and she's probably not
Yes,
popular anymore, but
Mrs.
she was
Frizzle from
okay, yeah, the Magic School
the,
Bus.
the Magic School Bus. She was the teacher.
So my daughter, she was probably 12, and somebody asked her, "What's your mom like?" And she said, "She's part Mrs. Frizzle, she's part Judge Judy, and she's part Barbie." And I thought, well, I think she's
Accurate,
got it.
spot
Mrs.
on.
Frizzle, because I'll take you on a wonderful journey and things that you've never experienced before, you're going to experience. Judge Judy, because I'm going to be fair and I'm going to call you out. And the Barbie part, I like to do it in high heels and fake eyelashes.
And nobody does it better. That is a wonderfully accurate description. Because I've seen you at work. I've seen you navigate spaces where there has to be hard truth and tough love in front of a lot of people, a whole company of people. But it goes back to what you're saying. One thing that is never questionable is your heart and your love for these people, young, old. It doesn't matter. Background. It doesn't matter. Ethnicity. It doesn't matter. I've seen you operate at a high level because the foundation of it was love, and it's palpable. You can tell beyond a shadow of a doubt, and you are to be commended for that for sure. What? Let's go all the way back to the very beginning, because there's no way for you to get to the place that you've arrived to without going through the ranks and um, arriving to a place because of all of the different matriculation that you've done. So how did this start for you? Go back to the very beginning.
Well, I was raised in a Mennonite home, and the Mennonite church, everybody could sing, everybody could read parts. Uh, you had four-part harmony. That's just how we grew up. So singing in unison, what was that? And I was probably 4 when they stood me on a little stool and I sang at church. And then we would put on shows at home. But I just loved it. And my mom loved it. And so she pushed in that direction. And I
Mm.
went to college. And then I went on the road with one of Thurlow's groups for 2 years. And that was all razzmatazz. You know, we got, my parents came to see me, and I had on hot pants and go go boots. And my dad nearly had a fit. He said, "Can she put on a turtleneck underneath that?" So we played Vegas, did all those kind of things. And then I went and got my master's degree in vocal performance and moved to Nashville and started doing my private teaching and studio work and things like that. And instead of a recital, because I thought recitals were so boring, I would do a show. So people loved coming to the kids' recitals because of that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was so much more interesting than one kid after the next coming up and playing their little piano piece or singing their song. I did a whole show.
Wow. Did you know what you were doing, what you were getting into when you started it, or were you just kind of going
I
from
just,
what's in your
I
heart?
just, yeah, I just did it. I just did it.
Okay. Just doing it. it there's so many. It's loaded. I'm so full because everything that you're saying is speaking to me. I'm one of those guys that doesn't necessarily wait for permission to make moves. I'm one of those guys that don't even have to necessarily wait until like somebody says, well, I was praying for 67,000 days and God spoke to me on day 67,001 to go and do such and such. I'm one of those guys that's like, let's try. Let's just see. Let's see if it works.
God gave us a brain.
Gave us a brain. He gave
Okay.
us a brain.
So let's use our brains. And it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Well, how can you direct somebody's path if they're sitting still?
Word.
How do you drive your car if you don't turn it on and put it in gear? You don't get in the car and say, okay, direct my path. You have no path. Move and let God direct the path. So that's what I do. I move. I don't sit. And then there is a reliance on him then. Remember the first verse, though. You have to trust in the Lord with all of your heart. You have to say to yourself, I don't know everything. I have no idea what God is thinking or how God does it. It's too big. To the Lord, lean not on your own. In all your ways, acknowledge him. You've got to do those 3 things. And name me one promise in the Bible where you don't have to do something first. So shut up and do it.
Shut up and do it. That is so good. Okay, I'm going to be totally transparent and tell you that before even I got on this call this morning, I was spending some time in the Word and while I had my cell phone to my right, and I was reading scriptures, and I was actually in the book of Acts chapter 3, and this is where Peter and John were going into the temple, and there was a guy that was laid there from his birth, and all this other kind of stuff. It was great, just wonderful. I'm just reading, and the Holy Spirit is just giving me great stuff. Well, my phone, a notification comes on my phone, and it's somebody giving me the bill for something that I'm doing. Right, quoting me the numbers for something that I'm doing. The thing that I'm doing it's not like I was assigned to. It's just it's one of those passion projects, like you're talking about, just getting up and doing it. It's taking a lot of resources, and there's no promise of a payoff in the end. But I just sense in my heart that this is what I'm supposed to do for whatever reason, and it could be. And I told the Lord this after I finished studying. I turned my phone upside down. I turned my notifications off, turned my phone upside down because I didn't want to be distracted, because I felt myself going to a place. Because you're like, I'm honest. I'm able to tell you, Lord, I do not know what I'm doing. I don't even know why I'm doing this. But I believe that this is something that you're in, something that glorifies you, something that you're blessed. And how do I know that the person that I'm doing this music for, producing this music for, how do I know that you haven't made a promise to them that you're using me to fulfill? This might not even be about me, but I'm not going to wait until I've got every, all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. My uncle said the other day to me, he said, you get further with God obeying him than you do understanding him.
Oh, absolutely. He is so about the obedience. So about the obedience. You have to be spirit-led, spirit-fueled, spirit-sustained, not people-powered.
Okay, you have to explain that. Explain the difference.
People are always going to disappoint you. Always. Count on it. But if you're spirit-led, spirit-fueled, spirit-sustained, people don't power you. What they do doesn't get in your way. Eyes on Jesus. You have to walk with spiritual legs before surrounding yourself with earthly people.
Yikes.
You can't have earthly support unless you've got some spiritual legs first. I do this example with my kids. I get a chair and I have somebody stand on the chair, and I say, okay, I want you to pull up Susie Q from the floor up onto the chair. Well, I don't care who's on the chair, they can't do it. And I said, now, Susie Q, I want you to pull them down to the floor. Immediately, they can get them down. I said, that's why you have to surround yourself with the right people.
Mm.
You can bring somebody down much easier than you can lift them up.
So good.
Kids get that. That's when they get, okay, it does matter who I'm around.
Mm-hmm.
That's why what you're doing right now with that project, it's not people powered. You have to be spiritually led to do that. You got to have your spiritual legs on. It doesn't matter anything else.
That's good. That is so good. Well, how do you find the fortitude to keep pushing with your passions when you're not getting the support that you believe that what you're building deserves or what you expect from the people? How do you keep pushing? How do you find the fortitude to do that?
That's hard. That's a spirit, that can be a spiritual and an emotional battle. But again, we're not a vision requires internal strength that isn't appointed by people. It's appointed by God. So my not getting what I think that I need at this time doesn't matter. Timing is holy.
Whoa. Timing is holy.
Timing is holy. The vision can be real. We can have the vision, but timing on that vision is holy.
I've never heard that before. Wow. Wow. I would love to hear an example that you might have of getting the timing wrong. Right vision, wrong timing. If you have one.
Right vision, wrong timing. I can't think of anything right now.
That's a testimony.
Timing is wrong.
You know what? And it's you know what? As I think about it, it could even be, oh, it's practical. But let's say you have a person that learned their part in a play, and there's a certain line that comes before their line. They have their line, they've learned it, but they say their line too early. Well, that can throw things off. You had the right part, you nailed your lines, but it was the wrong time. When we're singing, there's this intro. And after the piano does da 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 da, then you start your verse. Especially if this is really okay. Now I'm feeling it now. There are people who sing with soundtracks, and I love that because there's a definitive amount of time, and everything is set in an order. If you miss your cue and you step either before time or you're behind the time, the track keeps moving. There are times in our lives where we don't have the luxury of other people adjusting to our missteps. We don't have the luxury of, the band can, we'll skip and go ahead to that part because the timing is wrong. There are certain things that God has placed and it is set. And if we don't hit our lines right on cue, the only person that's going to be off is us. So we got it. That brings it to life to me. That timing is holy. Yes, do your diligence. Yes, increase your craft and your skill. Yes, we should practice, and yes, we should know it backwards and forward. But once we know it backwards and forward, we have to nail the timing part of it because it's sacred, it's holy. Because if you mess it up, a lot can be required.
But that's where that relinquishment comes in, which is so hard for us because God made us with that free will. But that relinquishment and obedience comes in then. And you can be so involved with the passion of your project that you get off spiritually while you're doing it. So you have to constantly turn that over to God. You can get so caught up in doing Jesus work that you miss why you're doing the Jesus work.
Wow.
You have to stop and go, wait a minute, Holy Spirit, I'm charging ahead, and I need to shut up and be quiet and let you take the lead, because our passion is so big.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys. I'm a big passion guy, and you're right. I'll just jump out and win the city, you know, and nothing wrong with winning the city. But did you stop and check to see if he was still beside you?
And if it's a calling, that calling always elevates responsibility. And that can create spiritual pressure if you're not continually surrendering to God.
That's good. That's good. It's kind of like your GPS. Every now and then, you'll go for a while and Siri won't say anything. But every now and again, in 30 miles, make a right on blah, blah, blah. And you're driving and nobody's saying anything. It's like, hello? No, just you haven't got to the next mile marker yet. Yeah. For me to say something.
Constantly dependent on God. Constantly. That's hard to do because, especially if you do things well.
Uh-oh. Talk about that. Yikes.
I will talk about that in regards to my husband, because the two of us together, working together, we have to have unity. That is our greatest strength, and it's where Satan attacks the most. He's a divide, distract and divide. And what's so irritating is that his tune does not change. And we keep falling for it over and over and over again. We started down the road last night in the hotel room, and I went, whoa. We know what this is. I told him, I said, I got seated next to the bride of Satan on the plane. And Thurlow said, he said, that was a plant. That was a Satan plant. And he said, you didn't give in. You just kept Jesusing her. And I told her, I said, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to sit next to me and talk like that. And just, I had passengers notice, and on the way out say to me, you're going to go to heaven for that. And I said, no, I am going to go to heaven, but it was not because of that woman. But people noticed that I just Jesus her. And Thurlow said, how did you do that? And I said, I kept looking at her and praying, Lord, let me see her through your eyes. Because through my eyes, I'm about to knock her upside the head. But let me see her through your eyes. Because he loves her. He adores her as much as he does you and me. Yikes.
Wow. That's so good. And going back to what you said earlier, if you look at the people that are in the plays and in your school and recognize that God adores these people, then you're not going to treat them harshly, because you know that they are adored by the God that made them and the same God that made you. You're not going to talk to them crass or say things to intentionally break their spirit, to subdue them, to let them know that you're this and they're that, because they are adored by the same God that made you.
He doesn't have favorites. So if you get in your head that you think that God loves you, you just have to stop and think, not any more than he loves that person that just did something you not told him not to do. Mm-mm.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I sat there and I thought, I wonder what Jesus would do if he was sitting next to this woman.
He does have the power to raise the dead, just so you know.
Yeah.
After the flight's over, all right, get up.
Oh, it was something else. But we're constantly the distractions and the division. Constantly.
That's so good. You mentioned Thurlow Spur. Oh my gosh. So I would love to know the whole story about how you met and all these things, but I do have one very important question, and that is, you are connected to a man of big vision. You're connected to a man who has astronomical thoughts and weight in the body of Christ, and the way that he thinks, the way that he moves, the way that he creates, all of these things is massive. And you are called to be his suitable help. What are some of the challenges and some of the blessings of being a wife attached to a man that has such big vision?
I think that it would be very easy to get lost and put to the side, and only that exists. So I think that you have to get on the same page, and that's where the unity comes in. So I think of us more as a kingdom alliance. So that we're such a good team, because what he does, I can facilitate. Now I have to weed through, because there's just not one big dream a day. There may be 5 big dreams. So you have to go through. We have a little system that we do when we don't agree, that on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to you? We do this with everything. So if it's a 10 to him and it's an 8 to me, and I'm telling you, we're never both a 10. That's how we figure things out. But we complement each other and we work together. And a 3-stranded cord cannot easily be broken. So with God in there, that cord can't be broken. And 1 shall chase 1,000, 2 shall put 10,000 to flight. So we operate like that. You don't start out day 1 like that. And sometimes I just need to listen to his dreams and let him express them. Doesn't mean we're going to do them all, but he just needs to get them out. Some days he's aware that he doesn't need to tell me a dream that day. Sometimes, I'm in the middle of facilitating the last one. So maybe he just needs to keep quiet. I have learned not to get lost in his big dreams. I have learned to walk alongside him.
What does it feel like to be lost in the middle of your spouse's big dream?
I never let myself go there. I'm not one of those kind of women. And I thought what he did was great. It was so similar to what I wanted that it's just a God-ordained marriage that complements the other person. And so when we first got married, my older brother said to me, he said, somebody's going to die here because you're both directors. You're not used to being told what to do. He's not used to being told what to do. And we just worked at it. And again, a kingdom alliance, co-architects, with the same calling. It
That's
just
amazing.
works.
I remember the one show, the first show that I did with you guys. Oh my gosh. And we'll talk about the show in a second. But we were in Orlando. We were at Calvary, and something happened, and I think either he missed a cue or he went to the wrong part of the show. And the way that you covered him, now the place is packed. The cameras are rolling, and here's a snafu. It's like, to watch how you covered that and made it humorous, and just it not only humorous but relatable, because to me, that moment could have brought a lot of healing to marriages that get to that spot. And maybe for somebody, it had nothing to do with Christmases. It had everything to do with that particular encounter that could cause a couple to see what it looks like to have love cover a multitude of wrongs or a mistake or whatever. And that moment was so beautiful and laughable, and it was great. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do. I do. The monitors had stopped for the piano players. And so one of the piano players stood up while Thurlow was directing and said, "I can't hear." And Thurlow's finger came out and he pointed to him and he said, "Sit down and play." And when I saw the finger come out, I knew we were in trouble. Well, when Thurlow realized they couldn't hear and they were playing a piano duet, he went backstage. When he came back in, the song was over and he flipped too many pages. And that's where we got off. And yeah, I mean, when you've been on stage for me for 45 plus years, you learn to think on your feet and you go. Now, I happen to like those times because it makes you stay sharp. It makes you be in the present.
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why the people trust us.
Mm.
They know we'll recover, we'll keep going, that we've got it, that it won't fall apart. In fact, a lot of the cast thought it was scripted.
I did. The only way I knew, because that I realized that it wasn't scripted, is because I had been with you long enough that you're intentional about all the different parts. And at one point I was like, "Oh, this is great. Wait, we didn't rehearse this. This is happening in real time."
It was probably when I turned around and my back was to the audience and cameras and I rolled my eyes that you said, "Uh-oh."
But it's you said something that resonated with me. You love those moments. It's because it keeps you sharp. This is probably an extreme verse for this, but David said, "Before I was afflicted, I went astray." And he said, now I've kept your word. And then a couple of verses later says, "It was good that I was afflicted because I've kept your word." So I think that sometimes it's good for us to experience these L's, because now we know how to respond. Now we know how to, it doesn't catch us off guard. It's like a football team that doesn't lose a single game the entire season. And then they get into the playoffs and they lose their first game and they're out of the playoffs and they're just distraught. They've forgotten what it felt like to take the L. They've forgotten what it, so sometimes the L's that we take, so to speak, in life are allowed by God, obviously, because he lords over all of it, to test us, to show us what's in our heart. Now, when this goes wrong, do you point the finger to your husband and call him out in front of all these people? How does your love cover all of these? It all works together. The Bible says that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So this somehow is going to work together for good. Somehow.
But I love putting out fires.
Yay.
I love those fast decisions that you have to make. I love people coming at me and saying, oh no, this happened. What about this? Because there's always a solution. There's always an answer. You don't quit. People quit too soon. People quit too soon. If you ask and the answer's no, go about it a different way. It's my mother was brilliant at things like this and getting out of people what she needed to get out. If I went on a date, she wouldn't ask me, did he kiss you? She would say, was he a good kisser? And your answer to that is yes or no. So that's what I like to do. And like to word it so.
Wow, you got it honest.
Yeah, I did. You have to. I like putting out fires. I like those quick decisions. I like that God entrusts me with that for his show. It's his show. And he lets me do that. So I continuously pray for wisdom and discernment.
Yeah, like Solomon when those two ladies came, she didn't kill my child. That's my baby. Says no, this was that. And in that moment, the wisdom came to do what was necessary, and it was fire. Okay, no sweat. Cut the baby in half. No, please don't cut it. No, cut it. Cut the baby. Okay. That's not the mother. That's the mother. Give the mother to the child to his mother. And it was like you sit back in those moments. You're like, oh wow, that was fire.
Mm-hmm.
I love, and I'm the same way. We're cut from the same cloth in that. Some people love to play the video game on easy mode. I like to go to expert mode, even though it's harder, because by the time I figure it out, not that I play video games anymore, but that's my son. He likes to play. He got this one game, and he wants to play it on the hardest possible level. I'm like, this doesn't have to be that hard, but I want to be able to do it at the hardest level. Some people live their lives in that space, knowing that the Holy Spirit within you leads you and guides you into all truth. Whatever level you decide to live your life on is to the degree that you decide to live your life maximized, he will be right there to help, to walk you through it. You can take the easy road if you want, but you can also take the more difficult road, and he's with you either way.
I'm finishing up my PhD right now.
Ooh.
And people say, why? And I go, because there's something more. Because there's always something more. Why are you not doing something is the question. Why are you sitting at home all day is the question. Not why am I doing all these things? Why wouldn't you do all those things? I'm not dead yet. God still has something for me. My husband's 91. He's not dead yet. Wow. There's still something for him to do. We're going with our boots on. I have a recording of him on my phone saying, because he would love to die during one of the shows, that if he flops over during a show, on tape, I have him say, you need to finish the show. You need to get up. You need to keep singing. You need to direct the orchestra. And I said, I have to have a recording of that because people are going to think I'm the most horrible wife. He said, no, we go with our boots on.
We go with our boots on. That is so good. Please, let's talk about the show. Let's talk about Christmases. How did it come about? What do people expect? And all of the things.
It's like a Broadway production. The first act is every Christmas song you know and love, and a lot of show and razzmatazz, because we want you to bring your unsaved friends, and we want you to tell them that they're coming to a Christmas show. So we get that. At the intermission, we change the set and we go to the Bethlehem Inn for a reunion 5 years after Jesus died and rose again, where all the people that knew him are gathered and they give their testimony of the changed life. And that's everybody's testimony when he changed our lives. And we give an invitation. And over the last 50 years, there's been over 53,000 people that have gotten saved in these concerts. So that's why we do it. And that's why we do it the way we do it. We're not Christian entertainment. We're missionaries. We're evangelists. I never consider that I do Christian entertainment. We don't ever do a concert without an invitation.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big. Have you ever gotten any kickback from the first half of the first half of the play?
Oh yeah.
The show?
Because there's Santa Claus is in it. Yes. So one year I got so tired of that. I had Santa Claus read the Christmas story to a little girl. And I thought, oh, I'm really going to hear about that. Yes, those letters used to bother me. Now I'm disappointed if I don't get something. Because you know what? We go to church and want to be comfortable.
Uh-oh.
I went to church the other day and I saw the pastor afterwards and I said, I don't know whether to say thank you or ouch, but thank you for the ouch. Come on.
Yeah.
I don't need Christian entertainment in the sermon. You don't need Christian entertainment. Go put on a CD. I want to get people saved. And so if you're not uncomfortable, I'm not doing something right.
Wow. That punches the face of this comfort Christianity that we've created. Because nobody wants to offend. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be, to have the high ratings and accepted. So we dance around truth, hard truth. We don't take risk that we should take for the kingdom, because if it's too risky, you might run the risk of being, canceled or outed, or people got questions. And I just want to make sure everyone's comfortable. That wasn't Jesus.
No.
Jesus was not making sure that everybody was comfortable at all.
Yeah, feelings aren't facts. So if your feelings are hurt, that's fine. They're not facts. Truth is truth, and there's only one truth.
That's good. That's good. We need it.
That offends. Yeah, Jesus offended.
Oh, absolutely. He said, "Oh, y'all thought I came to bring peace." Psych. I came to bring a sword. I come to put father against mother, father against the son. All of these. This is what I mean. The gospel upsets. The gospel is an offense. It upsets the apple cart by default. Not that we're going around looking for people like just to punch in the face. I felt that. That's not what it is. But it will offend. But the love goes all the way back to the beginning of our conversation. If love is the root of it, then it yields a different result. That's like when Jesus came down from the mountain of transfiguration, and there was a guy at the bottom, and the disciples couldn't cast the devil out, and Jesus did it, whatever. He rebuked them in front of all these people. He rebuked his disciples in front of these people, said, "Bring the boy to me." He heals the man's boy and all that kind of stuff. The Bible says that the disciples came to him privately later and asked him, "Master, why could we not do this? I want to know." Speaking in hushed tones, probably. But here's what I learned. If the way that he talked to them wasn't lined with love, they would have never come back to ask that question. They would have never come back. Because you know what? Nah. Nobody talk to me like that. I'm a fisherman. You know how you know what? No. It's like my son is the same way. I deal with my son, Christian Michael, this same exact way. because of the love that he knows that I have for him. When I have to correct him, he always comes back. What was that, or why didn't such and such? And now I can break down to him the deeper truth. But if you can't get past the first wall of offense, bro, you don't stand a chance.
And that's the problem today. That's the problem in churches. That's the problem in homes. That's the problem where we can't offend, we can't judge. Well, I hate to tell you, but Jesus judged, and he told us to judge. Otherwise, we couldn't make good decisions. They have that judgy part so wrong. We're not to hang out with people that are not good for us. That's a judgment. That's a judgment call. That's scriptural.
Ooh, so good. That is so good. You shall know them by their fruit. You have to be able to judge fruit. If you're not able to judge fruit, that's one of the reasons why nobody knows what anything is.
Yep.
There's no truth because there's no judgment. There's no, everything tastes exactly like. I saw this thing on Instagram the other day. It was so funny because now with music and production and stuff like that, you can replace sounds and get the perfect tom, right? And he hit this tom one. It was like do do, and he went to tom two. Tom two was like do do. Tom three. They all sounded alike. Then he went to the snare, do do. Then he went to the cymbal, do do. It was like, that is not the sound that this is supposed to make. And somebody's got to be able to say that ain't right. That's not what that's supposed to be doing. That's not how that's supposed to taste. That's not how it's supposed to look. That is not that. You got to be able to do that as believers. Otherwise, you don't know what's what.
How did we get here?
How did we get here? How did we get here? I hope you weren't asking me that question. I throw it to you.
It's the prince of the air. It's social media. It's the alienation that we have with each other, especially with the kids in their 20s. They don't want a phone conversation. They don't want to talk in person. All of that's being broken down. The family being broken down. What's happened since, when did phones come out? 2006 or 2007?
Yeah.
Look what's happened in that amount of time.
That short amount of time.
And no guilt anymore, no shame anymore, no moral compass anymore. And we've lost that in the home. We're scared to correct our children because they'll call the police or CPS. We can't correct them at school anymore. That's how it got in here. It's even Burger King. Have it your way.
That's right.
Sorry, Burger King. But
it's
it's whatever way you want it is okay. That's okay.
That's funny. This is a double whammy because you brought up Burger King. I remember when it was have it your way. Now the slogan is you rule.
Oh, wow.
You rule. No, actually I don't.
Yes, but if you keep repeating, and this is how everybody does, even when they lie. If you keep repeating it long enough, you believe it.
That's right. You're exactly correct. Which is why we got to say the right thing. Which is why we got to see the right thing. And you are an example, just in this last hour of talking, you are an example of what we need to see, what we need to hear, the love, the correction, the grace to lovingly correct, the grace to speak truth in love. It's missing in a lot of homes. It's missing in a lot of churches. It's missing in school. It's missing in society. And I want to applaud you for the way that you do that. I've seen it firsthand, and what you have been producing and duplicating in the people that you have brought into Miss Kathy's Academy, and have graduated from there, and all the kinds of things that is making men of boys and women of girls. You are growing us up in the things of God and the nature of God, and it's a beautiful thing to see, and I celebrate you for it.
Well, thank you.
I really, really do. Talk about Christmas. Where is it going to be? How do people get tickets? What, all the things?
Orlando, it's going to be at the Sanctuary Church in Orlando. It's off Conway. It's a really sweet church, really spirit-filled. We're so happy to land there. December the 6th at 1 and 5. And Friday night, we're doing a special for the Nathaniel's Hope Kids. We're going to have them all on Friday night for free. We're going to gift that to them. So that's an organization for special needs kids, and their families will come Friday night.
Beautiful.
And then, Saturday 1 and 6. And we miss you in the ensemble.
I know.
We have 3 new people.
What you say?
Do you know Jackie Isham from?
Yes.
Yes, she's our soprano.
Incredible.
That girl sings. It completely we have a new sound.
Oh.
We have Thomas Miller, who's in one of the shows at Disney.
Wow.
And then, do you know Tony DeRosa?
Yes, I know Tony DeRosa.
Well, his son, Joseph. Yes. So Joseph is like a little Tony.
Oh my goodness.
All of a sudden you see his arm going out and he's conducting. He's just like his dad. He's our baritone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we've got those young voices, and then that soprano who's got a pop sound and sings in the stratosphere.
Oh, she's amazing. She's amazing. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be connected to you through this, and I pray the blessing of God continues to pour, and that the reward that you and Thurlow are heaping up, not just for yourselves, but for all the people that are attached to it, myself included, that we won't even be able to quantify the kingdom impact that this production has made until we see God face to face in glory. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Thank you.